Well, it's outdoor season, or at least it's warm enough where I'm at for outdoor season to be started by now. Actually, it never ends. But I got some X10s here, outdoor arrows, that I want to put on my barebow here and get back to 50 meters and see how they work out for me. This is the first time I'm shooting an actual, real, full-fledged, outdoor arrows at outdoors. I've been shooting the Maxima Recurve RZs, and it's been fun, but I want to see if I can get some X10s set up with them and see how they work. What I've been doing lately, shooting barebow, I've been using Recurve Maxima RZs, which is like an indoor field arrow, not really optimized for 50 meters only or longer distances. And I have some X10s laying around. These happen to be 410 X10s that I shoot out of my Recurve normally. I just put different nocks on them so I can shoot them out of my barebow here. And I'm gonna see how they tune first, or at least if they're gonna be usable or not here at 18 meters, because I'm not confident that I'll be good with the barrel shaft at 30 meters. So I'm gonna start up close here, probably work my way back to 30, and then potentially go back to 50 if these 410s work. Now I've been shooting 500 Maxima Recurve RZs with 100 grain points, and these are 410 X10s with 100 grain points, and they're roughly the same exact length. So I'm imagining these may be on the stiff side, although the back half of this arrow is really, really soft and weak, and that's why it shoots so well out of a recurve. So I can only imagine that it's got to shoot really well out of a barebow. I've already got my rest adjusted for these arrows and my center shot set, and I'm going to shoot a couple arrows here at 18 to get warmed up, which is 20 yards, and then I'll shoot some bear shafts. Hopefully my crawl will be alright. I'm just going to use my 18 meter crawl or 20 yard crawl that I had with my Maxima Recurve RZs, and it should put me close. I'll probably need to adjust it a little bit though. Yeah, so that's pretty close. They definitely do not fly good, so can't imagine the tune's gonna be even remotely close. But who knows? I'm sure the knocking point's gonna be way off due to the arrow size changing so much. And I'm trying to set my vein alignment because I just threw these nocks on. I do like aiming with the smaller arrow, I'll say that. So we'll see. I'm gonna shoot a bear shaft here now because they're grouping fine. That is 122 centimeter face, so it's weird to aim at it this close of a distance. Actually not too stiff, but definitely really knock low. So we'll see. I'm gonna go back to 30. And I'm not sure yet what happens to the knocking point when you crawl different distances. So actually I might just stay here, go to my 30 meter crawl, aim at the bottom of the bale, see where the arrows impact, and then see how the bear shaft flies, because I really don't know. This point of this kind of video or series or whatever I'm going to be doing is trying to hunt down a good 50 meter setup, nail down a good principle for setting my entire setup at 50 meters. I'll do a walk back with my barebow to get my center shot set correctly. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of different things. So, my plan is to kind of cut my teeth on this and show you guys my process, or at least my mindset of how I'm going to be approaching this. So I'm gonna go to my 30-meter crawl and aim at the bottom of the bale because I know I'm going to hit high. I just have no idea how high at this distance. And continue to aim at the bottom of the bale and shoot a bear shaft, see if it changes any. All right, so that hit blue low, so I'm gonna aim up a little higher so it lands on camera so you guys can still see where the arrows are going. All right, so you can see I'm hitting low yellow. I'm gonna shoot one more arrow just to make sure it hits in the same place. Pretty close. And now a bear shaft. So it's acting stiffer, although the nocking point looks like it's coming down more reasonably. I'm gonna pull those arrows and then I'm gonna get to my 50-meter crawl, at least at what it was with my Maxima recurve RZs, and see how that goes and see if it changes anymore. So this is my old 50 crawl with the Maxima recurve RZs. I would imagine these would be a little, I'd need to crawl down less with these because they are a heavier arrow. Pretty close, and a bear shaft. So before the arrow probably didn't get actually stiffer. It's just that I was, the nocking point was off less. So the arrow primarily was not just going up and down, it started to take off left and right. So still really high and definitely stiff. Now I don't really want to go up and bow weight a whole lot, and I have no idea how my impact point is left to right. I feel like I'm hitting to the right slightly, but I'm guessing where I'm aiming low because I'm not aiming at an object that is left to right. I'm just aiming at a vertical reference on the bottom of the bale. But I would guess I need to increase my plunger tension to maintain my impact point, which would make my tune worse. Actually, I'll probably adjust my nocking points first, and then I'm gonna go back to 30 and see if the spine is okay. Otherwise, I've got some 450 X10s that I probably will need to just put some points in to make them work, because I think these 410s are probably too stiff. So I halfway was right. So the first thing I gotta do is cut off these old beautiful nocking points. It's always painful to do this because that means you have to re-dye them. But I'm motivated to do this because if I can get some arrows to tune up, I'll be really happy about it, and I'll be able to shoot, hopefully, higher scores at 50. Not that I've shot a score yet. I would love to, and I'll probably do like a my first 50-meter scoring round with you all on this channel, and it'll be after I get this whole setup adjusted and tied up and tuned up and everything how I want it to be done, or at least how I'm hoping to get it done. I'm sure my ideas are going to be really, really far off and not necessarily the best as far as the tried and true barebow methods are. So instead of reading any sort of manual or asking for any sort of advice, I'm gonna try to knock this out on my own and cut my teeth, and I'm probably going to be doing it wrong according to a lot of people. And if you do want to suggest stuff, you can suggest it below, because there are a lot of people that read these comments and they'll be able to really appreciate and be able to use tried and true advice that a lot of seasoned barebow shooters have done before. My plan is to try to treat this as much like a recurve setup as possible as far as my whole tuning process, because my plan here is to shoot 50 meters, because that's the first tournament that my wife and I are going to be shooting, or the next tournament that's coming up locally here in Florida. There are a couple of 50-meter shoots and 900 rounds and things like that, but I want to optimize my tune for 50 meters because it's a set crawl. I should be able to treat everything statically like a recurve, you know, because there is no crawl, there's no draw length change, so these tapered arrows won't be a problem as far as center shot's concerned. Also, it won't affect my point of aim a whole lot because I'm not changing distance, so I don't need to worry about that at all. I'm gonna do a walk back like I would normally with a recurve. And the walk back tuning sets my center shot dynamically. And because I'm not going to be changing where I'm pulling the arrow back from or how far I'm pulling it back, and therefore the center shot according to the arrow, I figure that I can do this with bare bow as if I was doing it with a recurve. So that's going to be my plan because I've had a few people ask that question. Can you walk back tune a bare bow? And I believe you can. And that's going to be my plan. And then I'm also going to go and do all of my tuning with my 50 meter crawl at 30 meters. That's also my plan because I really like tuning my stuff with my recurve at 30 meters because it's just like this magical distance basically of far enough away to show me what my arrows are actually doing, but not too far to where wind and changing conditions are going to affect where the arrows land on the targets. Now, because again, I'm going to be shooting 50 meters and only 50 meters, I'm going to optimize my nocking point for 50 meters. So I'm not going to try to get a point on because I don't really have any interest in that. I don't mind crawling and I feel like I can be quite accurate with it. And I've been happy with it as far as what I've seen in my preliminary shooting at 50 meters. It's been pretty fun. I'm not too worried about that. But what I am worried about is if I had my point on, what happens if you start hitting low? You can't just crawl up because you're already point on. So that's where I think I'm going to allow that, where I can adjust that without having to aim high or to have to, like, I don't know, bump my tiller or my rest or something like that to try to get that arrow to move up more slightly. Because I don't think that would be an advantage. I think that'd be a disadvantage. Now, I could be totally wrong, of course. And I'm also using the exact same arrows I shoot out of my recurve. So my FOC, well, it worked great on my recurve and shot best there, though I never calculated it prior to like a week ago when I was trying to set my wife's new arrows up. It is what it is. So I think my plan is to shoot this arrow that's an optimized FOC and an optimized arrow length where the node is located. So it should shoot really well because it shot really well on a recurve. That's the entire idea as to why I'm doing this. While I was at it inside, I also threw points in my 450 X10s. I didn't put nocks in them. I'll just pull them out of these arrows if I need to. So first I'm going to set my nocking point, and seeing how I know where to aim for 50 meter crawl, I've already bumped my nocking point up a considerable amount. I'm going to zero that in first and then probably try the 450s. It's hard to have a no left and right reference. Coming down, still need to move it up. Still needs to go up. Need to file my nail. Yeah, they're super stiff. I'm gonna pull them, switch the nocks into my 450s, and see if that's any better because I'm just, as I keep going up, I'm keep getting stiffer. So now I have actually put a reference for me to aim at, so that'll help a lot. And it's my wife's target face that she was having to put high. I'm happy to report dropping her into VAP arrows, the Victory Armor Piercing arrows. I think that's what they call them at least. They are light enough to get her landing in the middle without having to aim high. So I'm gonna repurpose her target face and put it down low. So it's definitely something I would recommend personally if anybody was doing any sort of bear shaft tuning that wanted to do it similar to how I'm doing it here, with aiming low using the point on that you, or the crawl that you want to use. This is exactly how I would do it. I'd put a target face low to aim at. All right, so I'm gonna use the same crawl. I'm just gonna switch to these 450s. They have different vanes, but it won't make a difference in tune. Bear shaft. That is better. So what I know still holds true, X10's about 50,000 spine weaker, 50,000 spine stiffer needed to shoot an arrow that has a parallel outside shaft. That's better. I'm gonna go down and check. It looks like it's still potentially a teeny bit knock low. Don't judge. It's pretty close. I'm just gonna spin it up a little bit because they are sticking in the target as if they were knock low. So I'm just gonna move it up a little bit, not a lot. And I'm gonna start working on getting my actual point on, and then probably go to 30 to do some tuning at 30. With the actual 50 meter point on that I'm gonna do to get me close. So I'm gonna find my 20 or 18 meter 20 yard, which is close enough. Actually, I'm gonna bump back. That's probably 20 meters. See how much my crawl has changed based on that knocking point change. Quite a lot. And the arrows are heavier. All right, there is my 20 point. There's 30 meters. The camera shut off because overheated being in the sun. So I put a hat on it, literally. Close enough. I'll go back to 40. Can't tell exactly where it went. Oh, it's 10. I'm gonna go back to 50. I'm only a half a mark above my old 50 crawl with the Maxima Recurve RZs, surprisingly. And I hit high, so I need to go down further. I'm gonna go get those arrows and come back and isolate my point on, or my crawl rather, so then I can go back to 30 and optimize this knocking point and tie on some permanent ones. So I hit really high, so I'm gonna crawl down a little bit more. I'm actually gonna go back to my exact crawl that I shot the Maxima Recurve RZs at and see if that drops me in there. I think we're good. That's pretty close. I'm just a tiny bit high. I am right now crawling down from the top of the tab. If you count the big marks on this large yoast, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.25 marks down from the top, so quite a lot. But I'm gonna go back to 30 and use that same crawl, optimize my knocking point, and get some permanent ones on, so then I can come back out here and shoot some more 50 meters. So I'm gonna take you down to 30 first, and then I won't bore you with tying on knocking points. And the next video in this series will be me hopefully nailing down my crawl, showing you what I can shoot at 50 meters, hopefully, at least with this whole setup the way it currently is. So if you haven't yet, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscription button and the notification bell, and the wells of the like button, and comment below, you know, all those things that help this channel out. It genuinely does help grow it, and I appreciate it. All right, so step one is I need to figure out where to aim while doing my 50 meter crawl. So I'm gonna go to my 40 meter crawl. I'm gonna aim at that target face at the bottom of the bale, and then I also put a basically a little jug underneath the bale that I can aim at too, when hopefully I can use my 50 meter crawl there. Black low, so slowly bump it up and see how far I can go aiming at that bale, or at that same low target face, before I go right to my 50, as I don't want to miss arrows and have to go chasing them. Alright, I'm out of arrows, gotta get them. Alright, so I'm 1 mark under my 50 mark, or 50 crawl, aiming at that low face, so I think I'm just gonna go right to the 50. I should hit high red, if I had to guess. High gold. Okay, so it looks like for me, to shoot my 50 meter crawl at 30 meters, I need to basically just aim at the bottom of the target face, maybe 10 inches below that or so. All right, bear shaft. All right, still knock low. I think it's still high, I can't quite tell. And temperature's dropping. I bet it's gonna rain here soon. I'm gonna run down and get them and do it really fast. I guess I'm almost at a half, so I'm not too high. I'm just a 1/4 inch higher than where I was with the Recurve Maxima RZs for some reason. And I'm still high, so right now the top knocking point is about a 1/2 inch. So the bottom's got, or above a 1/2 inch. So the bottom's gonna be close to a 1/2 inch right now. Tiller is probably still around a 1/4 inch negative, but it feels great that way. It aims great that way, so I like it there, even at this 50 meter game. Well, it's getting closer. On second thought, I might want your opinion. I don't know what's happening. Close. It's getting there. What do you know? Still high. At this point, I'm starting to doubt it and doubt my method. feel like it's flying like it's knock high, but it's still hitting knock low. That was high. Seems like my vertical grouping's not doing so well now either, so I just may be too high and it's porpoising, and I don't know, this is odd. Yeah, they're coming out and then they go whew. I don't know. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna bring you down there with me because I'm kind of stumped, you know. Right now it's way up there right now, so yeah, it's way up there. It shouldn't be this high. I mean, the Sniper rests with the other arrows, the Maxima RZs or whatever, were like a 1/4 inch knocking point. I started with a 1/2 inch knocking point and it was way too high. It was fine with a static rest, but with this drop away, I needed a 1/4 inch. So now I'm well over a 1/2 inch, and it's like the arrows are flying like they have knock high, but they're landing in the target like they're knock low. And it could be that I'm just so far off. That's possible too. Well, on second thought, you know, off camera, I set it back to a 1/2 inch knocking point and it looks good. So I'm just gonna run a 1/2 inch knocking point and go from there. So I'm gonna go tie on some permanent knocking points, and the next video is gonna be me shooting at 50 meters for the first time for score with my barebow. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider hitting the subscription button and the notification bell, as well as the like button. I would appreciate it. Also, please consider supporting my channel if you head to my website, jakekaminsky.com. There'll be info and links on Patreon, apparel, books, and equipment sales, PayPal donate button, a P.O. box to send things to, and above all else, please share this video because there's no better advertising than word of mouth.